Thanks again for joining us. From the very beginning 5 years ago, our focus has been to see if we can run a restaurant looking forward and instead of following trends, create new trends, but not trends for sales sake. More importantly, it's can we run a restaurant in an ethical and sustainable way that responds to society and the planet? And we do this in a number of ways. We've got 5 years under our belt at this point. I think we've been on a really good path with some successes and of course some failures. But what we've done here are things like become a zero waste restaurant. And what that means is food never goes in the trash. At worst, they'll go into compost, and we average less than 5 gallons each week of compost. This is in contrast to a typical restaurant of our size, which would be putting out maybe 40 gallons of food waste in the trash every single day. You won't have that happen here. We've been doing this for 5 years. I think we have that dialed in pretty well. The other is that we're excessively locally sourced, and very often you'll hear about farm-to-table restaurant or locally sourced restaurant, and that means they're bringing in tomatoes in July. This restaurant is locally sourced. We can detail all the minutiae to it. We even tap our own maple trees and such like that. And quarterly, I try to add a level of transparency by doing reports of our fiscal spending, because it's not just what we're bringing in, but where we're putting our money, and are we supporting the local economy? And so as you scroll back in our social media, especially my personal social media, you'll see pie charts from time to time, and that has our spending, and I analyze the trends, whether we're going up or down or staying consistent. The other part, though, is of course that we forage. At our core, we are a forage food restaurant. I go out at least once a week, if not more, and gather ingredients. The whole menu is based on what I'm foraging. And people often ask, well, what do you do in January and February? Well, we planned well back in July and August and September. And so very often you'll have things that may feel out of season, like pawpaw, which is only available the last week in August and the first week in September. But we prepared for it, and so we're able to work it into the menu year round. We do this for a number of reasons. We think it's important from a nutritional standpoint to be responsive to the season and focus in on the season. But also, it's a matter of economics. How do you run a locally sourced restaurant when farmers don't have anything in the middle of the year or in the middle of the winter? And so we supplement that with our forage. The other thing, though, and I think this is the most important to us these days, is our work as a reparative restaurant, a restaurant that focuses on reparations. This is not something that we scream from the mountaintop, but we do let our customers know. It's not really relevant, as far as I'm concerned, how the customers interact with this information, so much as for me to be able to run a restaurant in a way that I believe is ethical and historically acknowledging of the past. And so if this is something you're interested in hearing more about, I would sure love to share that information with you. And you can do that in a couple ways. You can either ask us, and we have a 5-year summary of our work, one of our white papers. You can either ask us, we'll give you a copy of that, or at the end of the night with your menu, there'll be a QR code at the top, and that will link you also to the same document. We love sharing that work. We love when people take an interest in it, and also this restaurant is designed for just that. So if you have any questions about that or anything else, just grab us and feel free to ask us any questions you might have. Anyway, I hope you enjoy your night. We're certainly looking forward to serving you tonight, and I hope you have a great evening. Thank you.